Hi, Blake with Boulevard Home. What's the difference between a heat pump dryer and a condensing dryer? So let's get into it here. Let's tell you the differences and what you should be looking for and what you shouldn't be looking for in these units and what to expect. Okay, so the biggest thing in the industry lately is these all-in-one units like I have behind me. Like this is the GE all-in-one and right here is the LG all-in-one. And these are heat pump dryers. These use a compressor system. So this has a small compressor on it and it uses a small refrigeration system in it. Now, the systems inside these are a closed loop system, which means that all the air is basically kept in the machine. Basically, it turns on a compressor, it gets the refrigeration side cold, gets the condenser hot, and then it pulls air through. So when it goes through the cooling part of it, basically it pulls the moisture off of the clothing that's coming out, and then it warms the air back up going through the condenser, and it pushes it through the unit, and it just keeps recycling it. Now with this type of system, you don't need to have, and both systems actually, you do not need to have a vent to the outside of the home, which makes it really convenient because you don't have to have that hole in the wall, or you have to worry about clogged vents from there to the outside of your home, or squished pipe behind your dryer, because it doesn't require them. These do collect moisture and it runs down into the bottom of the machine where it doesn't come in contact with the clothing during the drying part of the cycle. At the very end of the cycle, the unit does turn on the drain pump to drain that water because it's a closed system. Now, both of these systems are not super efficient. Is it efficient as far as electricity? Absolutely. Now, is it efficient as far as the drying part of the cycle and coming out super dry? Compared to a normal dryer, no. Condensing dryer uses a heating element similar to a traditional dryer. Now, it's small. It does take a little more power to run that type of system. Within it, you have a long piece. It's a long condenser fin that basically slides into the machine, and you have what's called plinth filters or other types of filters that are in there that it uses to draw air into the unit. So with those type of systems, you have warm air going into it. The air is then moving across this cold condenser because that's where air flows, and the water attracts to the cold condenser and it pulls the moisture out of the air that's on the exit part of the dryer. So it's cooler air, it's moist air, condenses to the fins in this, and basically the water runs off of these fins and then it goes into a collection bin at the bottom of the dryer. It's kind of the same system, but it requires more filters, because with this you have this big long metal filter that you do have to pull out. They recommend that when you're done drying, you have to pull this long filter out. You have to run it under water to rinse the condenser off, because it will pick up, lint and junk and debris that's in the air. You have a really fine filter called what's called a plinth filter. That filter, you have to run that under water. You have to squeeze it out. You have to do that really well, and you have to let it air dry completely before you use it again. So with the condensing dryer, when the water collects in the bottom in a pan, there is a float down there and a pump. The pump will run when there's so much water gets into that pan to get rid of the water. Now, a couple places that it can go, in some machines you have a drawer, just like you would have like a regular washing machine drawer, that it pumps the water up into that drawer, and you have to take that drawer out and dump the water out into a sink or outside or water your plants or whatever you want to do with it. Or in some cases you can actually disable that and take the hose that goes to that on the back of the machine and put it into a drain pipe, so you don't have to worry about emptying the drawer out. The convenient thing about having it, where it's in a drawer, that if you have a really tight space where the drain is just big enough for the hose to go down to, you have to kind of try to fit this other hose into it. Well, if you can't, the drawer makes it kind of convenient because you don't have to worry about trying to stick it in there. But again, you have to dump it out. As far as efficiency compared to a heat pump dryer, well, it's not as efficient because it does take more energy. So if you want to say efficiency and energy, it's not as efficient. Now, as far as drying time, honestly, they're about the same. Now, does it dry it as well as these do? Well, yes, I think it does, in my opinion. But again, it's not the same as a typical dryer, even though it has a heating element. If you want to talk repair-wise down the road, if the heating system failed within these all-in-one units, you have to remember it's a compressor system, and you have to buy the whole piece generally. There hasn't been anybody yet that I've seen that's offered parts and pieces to the refrigeration system. If it fails, you have to get the whole piece to put in. You're talking $1,000 just for this piece, where compared to a condensing type dryer, If the heating element fails, you replace the heating element. So repair-wise, you have a lot more flexibility with a condensing type dryer than you do with a heat pump type dryer. But this is what the rage is, because they're convenient, because neither one of them vent to the outside. They have a lot more flexibility than your traditional washer and dryer. Which one should I get if I'm looking for one of these dryers? Well, a heat pump dryer, it's going to be more money up front. Repair costs are generally more if you have a problem with the refrigeration system in it that actually does the work. It's actually going to cost you more. Is it efficient as far as cost-wise? Yes, it is the most efficient one out there on the market. The condensing type dryer, is it as expensive? Well, they are a little bit cheaper, but not by much. Are they more work? Yes, they're more work because you have to do a lot more cleaning with the condenser and a few other things within this unit. Is it as efficient as far as electric usage? No, it's going to cost you a few more dollars. Is it going to be cheaper to repair? Absolutely. You're going to have to balance that with inconvenience of having to do maintenance on it, cleaning these filters really well, doing the maintenance on it. If you don't do it, they're not going to work very well. If you're looking for a small dryer, and you're looking for what's going to fit in a small space, a 24-inch dryer or a combo unit, you now have the information that you can make the decision that's best for you, because they're both still out there. If you're still looking for one, it's a good option for you. The heat pump's a good option for you, but definitely use this information to your benefit, and I hope this video has been informative. It gives you the information you need to make the right purchase for you. I do appreciate you watching. You know, if you like what you're seeing, you like the content that we give you, please subscribe, because that way when we have new videos drop, we can make sure we get them to you, so you know there's something out there for you to watch. Thanks for watching, and check out our other videos, and we'll see you again real soon.